Need Pokemon Go PvP coaching? Well, I'm on Metafy, so click the link in the video description, it'll take you right to my page. What's up, guys? Got a very exciting team yet again for the Great League Remix Cup. This one even more successful than my previous team, I believe, winning over 80% of the games I played with it. So before we get into the team, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Could not be doing this without you guys. But without further ado, let's get right into this gameplay video. Alright, so this team, ABB team, no confusion about movesets. No confusion about shadows or non-shadows. The IVs are decent on this team, but not a big concern. It's an ABB team, so very standard to most of the ABB teams I make. You want to switch out at some point. In this case, we're just going to pay attention to a Focus Blast catch here, which will straight up end a game. If you can make a play like this, essentially just demoralize your opponent into leaving. That works too. Yeah, it was just the first game, so I unfortunately don't have a game to talk over for this one. So it's double Ghost, but every Pokemon on this team is good against flying, and there's been a lot of Noctowl, a lot of Pidgeot going around, so it's been a pretty fantastic team with it. As far as playstyle goes, if you can get a superpower off and then switch versus a lot of these neutral leads, puts you in a pretty good spot. In this case, it was a good lead for Melmetal, and they swap right out to Escav. Drifloon is the very strong answer to Escav. Megahorn is double resisted, so you can see even though it's a very powerful move, it does quite a bit of damage. I decided to preserve some HP instead of taking another move here, just so that I can, I could get some Icy Winds off on their Noctowl, but instead they bring in the Registeel. And this is great to see because this Noctowl is now either going to be on my Melmetal or my Frostlass, and neither of those is a positive situation for them. So in this case, I'm going to no-shield the Flash Cannon. I want to get my Registeel, or sorry, my Melmetal on the Registeel. So going to charge up a little bit, throw a superpower, and they make a great catch, / my reaction times are very slow there on the Noctowl, but the superpower allows Frostlass to kind of get in farm-ish range, or threatening farm range. Going to shield up just in case it's Shadow Ball. It's not successful bait, but I'm going to throw my Avalanche because I just want to take out this Noctowl. At this point in time, one shield should be good enough for my Melmetal to get to 2 more superpowers versus the Registeel, and the Registeel can't allow my Frostlass to get a Shadow Ball off either. So in this case, I actually am going to no-shield my Frostlass here and just farm all the way down. This is going to allow my Shadow Ball to go off on this Registeel, and then my Melmetal still has a superpower stored, so I'm going to be able to take this Registeel out kind of regardless of what they do. The reason I didn't switch is because I don't want to catch an errant Flash Cannon. I'll let them throw. It's okay. But I've got the superpower ready to go and a shield remaining, so it was not all that close in the end. I mean, it was a very dominant lead. Whenever you see Noctowl in the lead, it's like just a fantastic matchup, because even if something comes in and Melmetal can beat it, you can just stay in and Frostlass can take care of Noctowl later, or Drifloon can even take care of Noctowl with an energy advantage. And like I said, Noctowl lead, these things are everywhere in Great League Remix right now. They swap into Toxicroak. It's almost the same team, so we're gonna play it the same way. Sludge Bomb does a little bit more damage than Megahorn. You can still tank too, but then you're in farm down range, so I'm going to play it the same way. I'm going to farm up a little bit more just before they get to that Sludge Bomb, throw the Shadow Ball. They have never shielded this, because I think they realize if they shield, they're just going to go down 2 shields and lose switch. And in comes Noctowl. Going to get this Icy Wind off. It's not going to grab a shield, most likely, but the second Icy Wind will almost certainly grab a shield if they let me get there, which they don't. So Noctowl having to throw is pretty good. But unfortunately, they're going to be able to farm down before I'm going to get to an Icy Wind. I decided to come in with Melmetal here because they were very... what's the opposite of reluctant? They're very happy to swap that Toxicroak in there, so it makes me think that they have 2 good answers for Melmetal. As long as I get this Rock Slide off, it's all good. I'm able to take them down. And in comes Shadow Ball. Yeah, so that's a big core breaker with this team. Fire types in general are a pretty big core breaker for this team, but after the day 1, I really have not seen too many fire types. I think I've seen a Maccargo, Mawile technically. Ninetales is all but dried up, but yeah, in this case, not going to quite be able to get to 2 moves, even with the successful fast move deny. Which is all I would have needed, I think, to take out the Mawile. Yeah, Melmetal's not going to be able to make it either. So Drifloon really your best answer versus Mawile, and it's unfortunate that it's your safe swap. So if you do see these fire types, it's kind of very tough to deal with them. But Melmetal hitting with Rock Slide is fine. Frostlass with energy advantage is fine too. In this case, we have Escav lead. I'm going to swap into Frostlass this time because Drifloon is the one with the much better lead, and in comes Mantine. Unfortunately for them, I don't think Mantine versus Frostlass is the best matchup, and it would be very, very useful to get switch advantage here. having Drifloon against Escav almost surely guarantees a win. So just as long as I keep throwing these avalanches, they already shielded once. We'll see if they want to do it again. And they're just throwing bubble beams because Ice Beam is resisted. So I know that I should be able to get to that next avalanche as well, and it'll be up to them whether or not they want to shield. Hitting 2 shield to 0 advantage would also be fine because I'd be able to get a farm with Melmetal on the Mantine, and then I would be able to just superpower the Escav out of existence instead. I farm up a little more because I'm expecting the catch there. They throw the Mega Horn. I'm expecting a switch, but they don't switch, so I just keep farming up, throw the Shadow Ball, and we'll see what's in the back. I don't think there's a lot of Pokemon that beat Drifblim and Melmetal with a shield advantage, and it's Dragalge in the back. Another Pokemon that loses to all 3 of these with access to ice moves, and then Melmetal obviously resisting Dragon Tail. It's similar to the triple counter team, in which case you kind of invalidate a lot of Pokemon. Unfortunately, Maccargo kind of beats the whole team, so I don't know what I was doing here. First of all, Rock Slide is super effective. Mistake 1 as well. Mistake 2, why am I throwing at 5 Thundershocks? When you're playing against Incinerate, throw at not 5 Thundershocks. In this case, they're going to hit me with a Rock Tomb. I don't shield because my only win condition is that they're running Rock Tomb and not Stone Edge. So we're going to go for the Shadow Ball here. It's going to deal some damage, but not very much. Unfortunately, while I have shield advantage, I don't really have too much else of an advantage here. Melmetal, for example, will have to shield an Overheat if they have it. In this case, I believe they're running Heat Wave. So I'm going to farm up a little bit more. Throw with better timing this time. Get my superpower off. Grab that last shield. And then once again, throw with good timing to get this last superpower off. Unfortunately, Melmetal took that Incinerate damage, so it's going to be a little bit too low to deal anything else. So we're going to get out into Frostlass. And Frostlass with the shield advantage is very scary. In this case, Victory Bell and Skuntank in the back. Like I said, Frostlass with a shield advantage is kind of scary. Going to be able to throw an Avalanche here and then just farm the Skuntank all the way down. 1 shield will be good enough for the crunch. And even though it's a dark type, Frostlass, I don't know. Yeah, with a shield or energy advantage, Frostlass is kind of insane. Victory Bell, obviously, I feel a little bit bad doing this, but gets killed about 17 times over by this Avalanche. And yeah, even with this poster behind me, this thing right here, very sad. Victory Bell. This one betrayed me though, so we're gonna pick up 4 wins in this set. Get to rank 15. Next set is gonna be the rank 15 set. We got lots of candies. We're gonna pretend it's Halloween. Get every single candy here. That's the goal. And hopefully we grab some good leads. Cofagrigus, this is a bit of a weird one. I swap right away because I know if Cofagrigus gets an energy advantage, I'm kind of boned with the backline. So without an energy advantage, it does become a bait game that I feel like Drifblim has the opportunity to win. I throw the Shadow Ball and get the extra move through, and then I no shield here because I know they're going to start to outpace me. So I got shield advantage. That's what I wanted. I'm going to come back in with Melmetal and just throw my moves. It didn't look like they had a better answer for Frostlass, so I decided that saving shields for Frostlass would be good. But then in comes Pidgeot. So it's a very weird Pidgeot switch into Melmetal. This is not something I would generally expect. I'm going to throw the superpower here because it's cheaper and it will still KO, and I'm planning on switching. So they shield, I swap out, and I'm going to shield up what probably is a Brave Bird, but no, it is a Hurricane. In this case, Frostlass appreciates this energy as it can deal with even this Cofagrigus at that HP. With an Avalanche, it doesn't need to go for the Shadow Ball. And if they're bringing Cofagrigus, then, well, yeah, this is kind of expected. So once again, another double flyer line. You love to see these. There's a lot of like Machamp double flyer, or what was this even? What was their lead? Cofagrigus double flyer. Just a lot of double flyer. A lot of Pidgeot, Noctowl in the back. Having a lot of access to ice and rock moves really just allows you to pick up some of these wins regardless. All right, so Whiscash lead. This is absolutely not a great lead. So we're going to swap right out into Drifblim. And in comes Drapion. So not the ideal swap here for Drifblim. This isn't one that you can really kind of just win. I'm not going to shield anything. My goal is to maybe take shield advantage or force them to throw their energy and have me get them low enough that I can farm down with Melmetal, because while Melmetal doesn't have a great matchup versus Whiscash, those superpowers still hit pretty hard. And if I'm going to swing back and forth with energy, the only way I'm going to win this game is by landing a bunch of superpowers, probably 3 superpowers on this Whiscash. So I got to set myself up for that win condition and just hope that Froslass has a decent matchup in the back. They get the defense drop, which is very unfortunate here because I have to no shield. Got to save those for the Whiscash. And Melmetal will be able to farm all the way down. Whiscash will come in, so I'm pressing that superpower button already. Then I'm going to go with the Froslass. The superpower damage is enough such that my Froslass will now threaten with 1 Avalanche. Going to no shield this first move in case they have a hard counter in the back. Throw the Avalanche. I expect I'll get a shield. If they're staying in, it's something very weak to Froslass in the back. So I can expect them to kind of play this matchup a little bit more. Unfortunately, they have enough energy that they're already CMP tying me and now ahead of me in energy by quite a bit. So I shield this one up again. I know that I can get this next one off. Okay, so they swap into Noctowl, so it's Noctowl in the back. And once again, this Noctowl has been kind of trapped. I'm going to throw the Avalanche here. And Noctowl, this is perfect. So you don't have to worry about farming up extra against Noctowl. If you throw Avalanche, you farm exactly all the way down with Froslass. That matchup is perfect right there. Gonna be able to grab that last shield with Froslass against Whiscash. And then Melmetal's got a superpower still, so it does not really matter if this Whiscash had enough for another move. Superpower will be enough to take out the Whiscash. So even though quite a bad lead, able to come back just because of the presence of Noctowl in the back. And I think Noctowl's in quite a few of these teams. Very flavor of the month right now. Flavor of the season, I guess, more accurate towards Pokemon Go. Electrik, this is a very weird lead, but it beats every Pokemon on this team. I had no idea what the moveset was, but I think it's running Crunch and Discharge. It goes for the Crunch, which deals over half of Melmetal's HP, and with Spark, it's charging pretty fast, almost as fast as Melmetal. So I get a shield there. Go for the superpower this time because I'm planning. I have to switch at some point, and even though there's a Crunch potential, I can either shield it or no shield it, and they discharge anyways for some reason. This time I will shield. I think it might have been a bait. I don't know if discharge is cheaper or not. But they swap onto Politoed. Not a great matchup. I would have really loved to take that Electrik out with Avalanche instead. So they throw a move here. I decide, no, not worth the shield. Froslass, you've done your job. It's time to come in with the Drifblim. I need a monster farm so that this Drifblim doesn't just get killed by Discharge. And it's about making sure this Electrik can't come into any of these Pokemon anymore. I'm going to shield up the move, which is a Blizzard, which is going to allow me to farm all the way down. I have to take a Weather Ball, which is a bit unfortunate. A Weather Ball on Drifblim is not too big of a deal. In comes Shadow Gardevoir, trying to deal some real damage, but going to throw this Shadow Ball. This is a very spicy team. And then, obviously, Politoed comes back in, going to be able to farm down, and then just light up this Electrik with a Shadow Ball. So yeah, that was a weird team, but honestly, Electrik was a very good pick versus this whole team. Just Shadow Gardevoir didn't really have a lot of play once they spent 2 shields on their Electrik. Next game, we've got a Dewgong lead. This is a fantastic lead for Melmetal, and they know that, so they swap out. In this case, I throw the Rock Slide. I was kind of panicking, not really sure what to do. Because they let the Rock Slide through, I'm able to go into Froslass and kind of just farm Trevenant all the way down. And this is the way I've decided to play it in the future. I'm going to shield the first one, Seed Bomb. If it's a Seed Bomb, they get to another Seed Bomb. If it's a Shadow Ball, they get to another Seed Bomb. So it doesn't really matter if they bait or not. We're going to let that next one through, farm all the way down, and live with a little bit of HP and a move ready to go, which kind of sucks that you have to shield. But I think having that energy advantage come out of there and keeping switch is definitely worth it. It's a bit of a risky scenario if there's something that's good against Melmetal in the back or Drifblim in the back. And it's a Toxicroak, so I wait the timer as long as I can, but because of the desync switch timers, my Melmetal takes quite a bit of damage. Luckily, Drifblim is quite good against Toxicroak. So same thing as last time. I'm going to farm up quite a bit, throw the Shadow Ball. They never shield, even though they have 2 shields. In comes Dewgong, and I am going to throw an Icy Wind bait like a dummy. This was not a good move. I really should have thrown Shadow Ball to guarantee those shields, but that's okay. Gonna tank a move here. And the Dewgong is getting kind of low, even though it has 2 shields. We're gonna have to throw with good timing here if I'm gonna be able to get 3 moves off. I'm gonna no shield the first one because I think it's the most likely one that they bait, and they know that they need to either land the Water Pulse or they need to land 2 Icy Winds. So because Melmetal outpaces, it's gonna be a race to the finish here. And I'm gonna go for 2 superpowers at the end. The Rock Slide at the beginning was just so I don't debuff myself, and then the superpowers are cheaper. So I'm able to get to 2 superpowers. I'm not sure if I'd be able to get to 2 Rock Slides in this scenario. So just take that into consideration too. It's not just choosing the most powerful move here. It's about the energy of Rock Slide and superpower as well. Yeah, the Trevenant switching is kind of tough for this team. Not gonna lie. We have Trevenant in the lead. Also kind of tough for this team. So I'm gonna play it the same way. Worked last time, so why wouldn't it work this time, right? And Frostlass and Drifloon are both pretty good safe swaps, so I'm gonna go into Frostlass. If they swap out, that's fine too. Gonna shield the first one. Shadow Ball, and then they're gonna stay in. And this one is for sure just a Seed Bomb, so gonna take that. And then gonna be able to throw off a big Avalanche into the Donphan. I threw Avalanche because I was expecting them to not come in with something weak to Shadow Ball, thinking that I would probably just be spamming that. But because it's Donphan, I think maybe the only thing that Drifloon counters harder than Escavalier is Donphan, especially if Donphan is running Earthquake. So gonna build up. They're just throwing counters. It's not even that fast of a charging move. It's a Body Slam. And at this point, yeah, once again, saved by the Noctowl in the back. I mean, we're ahead this game, but yeah, if there's a Noctowl in the back, it just is essentially a free win most of the time. So Noctowl, they're actually going to stay in this game. Throw a move. Shadow Ball doesn't actually hit that hard, so you can see exactly how hard it hits here. They can technically shield and farm down, but got an Icy Wind on the Drifloon, and Drifloon isn't threatened at all by this Donphan, so it's really Icy Wind. The Donphan, really make sure those counters aren't doing any damage at all, and then just farm all the way down. I don't know, I thought my opponent was just letting me take them out, but they shield and they go for the charge move, so we're gonna have to wait another 10-15 seconds here to end the game. Yeah, total of like 30 seconds has been wasted here. That's okay, all worth it for a win. And that's it. It was very successful trick-or-treating here. Gonna grab every candy. That's 5 wins in this set for a total of 9 out of 10 wins so far with this team. Next set, we'll see if we can keep the magic rolling. Noctowl lead, love to see it. They're gonna switch out. And it's Hypno, and I make a terrible mistake. You should swap into Drifblim against Hypno, because if they just 2-shield, they can win switchback. Also, Frostlass is much better versus Noctowl. So they actually shield here. That's fine. I debate shielding here. Yeah, I'm going to shield because I know I can get to that move. I go for the fast move now because I thought I might be 1 away from the next Avalanche, but I'm not. Yeah, I was 2. So not going to be able to get there in time. Unfortunately, this Hypno has a decent amount of energy, so I have to come in with the Drifblim. It's not as good versus the Noctowl. So Thunder Punch deals a lot of damage. I'm going to be able to just farm all the way down. But like I said, kind of sketchy. I'm going to save that energy for later, and it's a Whiscash in the back. So this is a much different game if I swap Drifblim into Hypno instead. Even though it has Thunder Punch, you can kind of, like, you don't feel the fast move pressure as much as you do on the Frostlass, and I feel like it doesn't really matter what punch they have. They can just 2-shield Frostlass, whereas with Drifblim, if they don't have Thunder Punch, you can just beat them. So unable to take down that Whiscash, and they farmed all the way down, so they have energy. So I have to throw, and unfortunately my win condition is now gone versus that Noctowl. But it is what it is. Hypno switching also kind of tough for this team. But like I said, just swap in the Drifblim. It'll go better than how this went. And you can just take shield advantage or something like that. Worst case scenario. Skuntank lead. This is pretty good. Gonna build up. No, we're not. We're just gonna throw. Oh yeah, I throw right away because I want them to make. I want to make them think it's a superpower and dip, but it's not. It's really just a rock slide. So I can stay in because Skuntank obviously has a pretty good matchup versus the rest of my line. So this time I'm gonna build up, and they swap into Marowak. So I throw my rock slide, and it's Hex Marowak. So this isn't even really doing that much damage. Melmetal. And No Shield Bone Club actually did more damage than I thought. But because I'm Melmetal and I outpace the Marowak, you're going to be able to get to 1 Rock Slide, 2 more Rock Slides, get all of their shields, and Melmetal is just absolutely doing a ton of work right now. So in comes Skuntank, and it's going to use energy to take out Melmetal, which I think is okay. I think Frostlass is a decent matchup versus Skuntank here. If they have residual energy, they're going to get to the crunch first, but they don't. But they win CMP. So Skuntank versus Frostlass in terms of CMP is apparently IV dependent. Frostlass is supposed to win, like by default, but they must have had awful IVs. They must have had absolutely awful IVs on their Skuntank there, which allowed them to win CMP. Otherwise, it would have been a much easier game, I guess. But Samurott in the back. I don't think Samurott has anywhere to go versus this team either. There's just so many Pokemon that just don't have anywhere to go. Hypno, we're going to swap into Frostlass right away. Remember when I said don't swap into Frostlass? That's when it says swap in Hypno. If it's a counter swap, I'm trying to force them out so that my Drifloon can go into the Hypno later. So that's why I don't swap into Drifloon. In this case, they don't shield. Honestly, a lot of people have not been shielding Shadow Ball on their Hypnos. I think everyone out there who's running Frostlass is just baiting Avalanche. So going straight for the Shadow Ball has got me so many wins. Like even in this video, you're going to see a bunch of them. Celio throwing a move. It is actually a Water Pulse. I thought they're going to bait with the Body Slam. That's fine. We have Melmetal to handle Shadow Celio. In fact, Melmetal is very good in this matchup, but in comes Machamp. And obviously Machamp wins CMP here. So going to shield up a Rock Slide. I think they don't bait because their only win condition is not baiting there and me calling the bait. So I'm going to get the Icy Wind off. Just try and farm this Machamp all the way down. At this point, I don't need to shield Rock Slide. It's fine. It'll deal a lot of damage, but let's just say Drifloon isn't the most useful Pokemon versus Shadow Celio. So gonna grab the last shield. Get farmed down, unfortunately. Go into Melmetal. Throw the Rock Slide. I wasn't sure if I should go for 2 superpowers or just go for the Rock Slide. But Rock Slide was the correct play. It almost takes out the Celio. And then Melmetal should be able to Thunder Shock this poor little Seal down. I'm gonna get yet another victory, another W here. And yeah, we'll see. Next game, we're gonna have Wigglytuff lead. So this is where you want to see it. We actually don't really have a good charm answer here. In comes Greedent, and once again, this is also somehow the Pokemon I need to take out Greedent because it's the normal type. So in this case, I'm going to throw Superpower, double Superpower, and swap. They're going to shield the first one, of course. They want to maintain health on their Greedent, but nobody shields 2 Superpowers, right? It's already debuffed. And going with the Frostlass here. Fortunately, Greedent, of course, has Crunch, but Frostlass can tank a Crunch. Kind of. Well. And just get to that Avalanche. Avalanche will, of course, take Greedent out if they decide not to shield. They would go down 2 shields if that were the case, so they decide not to. Wigglytuff, unfortunately, is going to get the perfect farm, and the switch timers are out of sync now. So I got to wait the full timer, and I got to hope that they stay in. If they switch here, I'm in a lot of trouble. So they don't. Because of that, I'm going to throw my Rock Slide, stall the timer a little bit more. Now I can switch to. They're going to throw a Play Rough, so I'm going to shield up. I know that I need to kind of get to that move versus Wigglytuff again. And in comes Stunfisk. This is a bit of a tricky situation here. Stunfisk versus Drifloon is kind of an even matchup when it's Mud Shot, but if it's Thunder Shock, obviously Stunfisk has a pretty big advantage. In this case, I shield the first one because it's going to do the most damage after my Icy Wind. Then I'm going to throw my next Icy Wind and hopefully either grab a shield or deal some significant damage here. So deal quite a bit of damage and just be able to farm this thing all the way down. This discharge shouldn't KO. But in comes Wigglytuff. They try to snipe. And I'm going to get the Icy Wind off. Then I'm going to be able to get into my Melmetal and throw the Rock Slide. And then hopefully be able to Thunder Shock down this Stunfisk, which is triple resisting Thunder Shock, which is an extremely weak move. But it's very low. It was not able to switch out in time out of that Drifloon matchup. But yeah, able to kind of play around a pretty, not tough lead, but a tough swap in there, where Melmetal had to kind of do too much. So another Wigglytuff game. Throw out 8 this time because I think they lagged a turn. So if they lag a turn, just throw a little bit later. And Wigglytuff lets it through. This is great. Now it's in Avalanche range. Marshtomp comes in. And I go into Frostlass, but I really think the better play probably would have been Drifblim. Marshtomp goes for Mud Bomb. I probably would have went for Surf. But I guess 2 Mud Bombs is all you need. Never mind. So that was the correct play from them. I'm going to go for the Avalanche. See if they shields. They do. They're going to go for a Mud Bomb. I'll shield. I kind of really want to keep switch here. I don't want Drifblim on Wigglytuff under any circumstance. So I'm just going to throw right away. Make them think it's good to no shield here. Nope. They still go for it. And it's a CMB tie. So because of this, I know that they're going to beat me to the next move. I have to let this go. So the goal here, now come with Drifblim and get enough energy that this Wigglytuff cannot come in. But instead, they swap for me and make this really easy. Allow me to get my Melmetal on this Wigglytuff. And not farm it all the way down. I'm going to no shield though, because I think I need this shield for later. Going to be able to Thunder Shock that Wigglytuff down. And throw superpower, whatever comes in. Not the right call. Let's just say that. Should have been a Rock Slide. But in this case, I'm going to farm up a little bit more. Be able to Shadow Ball this Hypno. And then obviously Drifblim with a little bit of an energy advantage and a shield advantage is going to beat this Marshtomp, which is only throwing Mud Bombs. I wonder if it doesn't even have Surf. I wonder if maybe that's why. Who knows? Only the owner knows of that Marshtomp. Yep, yet another win for this team, and yet another 4 wins in this set. So that brings us to a total of 13 wins out of 15 games. And we'll see how we do in this last set here. Alolan Sandslash is exactly where you want to see it. In comes Pelipper, and I thought I made an incorrect decision here yet again. I should have maybe stayed in and thrown a Rock Slide or something like that. Because I was not sure if Pelipper beats Frostlass in the 2 shield. So I'm going to shield up. Every time they threaten a Hurricane, I'm going to definitely shield. But if they're just going to throw a Weather Ball like they are here, like they're definitely not at a Hurricane, then I'm going to tank it because I know that I'm going to need to tank one anyways at some point. So I'm going to throw this Avalanche. They're going to let it through because I think they know I'm going to get to the move. And then Frostlass is barely going to hang on to get this Shadow Ball off on a Slash, which they let through, of course, because Superpower is going to take out regardless. In comes Toxicroak, and of course we have Drifblim as the hard counter in the back to this Pokemon. A lot of Toxicroak, a lot of Escav, where Frostlass and Drifblim both have fantastic matchups here. So same play as before. After they throw, just throw 4 more Hexes, throw a Shadow Ball, they never shield, take that energy advantage into the next Pokemon. I don't go for the Icy Wind because I feel like they're gonna no shield it. But instead they use the other shield, the 3rd shield, the top left activated shield. You see that Shadow Ball did 0 damage there. Yeah, I'm starting off this set strong. Good lead though. And another good lead, Golbat, exactly what you want to see. Same with Noctowl, right? Frostlass also has a good matchup here, but unfortunately, with this Sea King coming in, kind of didn't want to go to Drifblim because it does know Icy Wind. So I'm going to go with the Frostlass instead. Avalanche should be enough from this range. And Drill Run kind of hurts, but I mean, not that much. They could technically probably win switch back in the 2 shield to have Golbat against Drifblim, but they'd have to go shields down for that. Then Golbat's going to come in. They're going to try and throw a Poison Fang before I get to my move. Frostlass wins CMP. Going to be able to get the Avalanche off, tank the Poison Fang. And then Melmetal obviously has this great matchup against Golbat, so we have shield and switch advantage, which is awesome to see. And they're going to swap on to Stunfisk, so once again, this Stunfisk versus Drifblim matchup is not easy per se, but with 2 shields in play this time, I'm feeling a lot more comfortable about it. I do want to save one shield for later because I know that they're going to swap out at some point to clear these debuffs. So I'm going to tank this discharge, even though I could land another Icy Wind before having to take another move. But with now 4 moves thrown on each side, the switch timer is coming back up. And after this discharge is thrown, they're going to be looking to switch right away again. And I need to make sure that my move is not caught and my Drifloon is not sniped down. So Melmetal going to be able to throw this Rock Slide, take out the Golbat, and then just needs to get to a superpower here. I mean, I've got the Icy Wind ready on the Drifloon. I don't need to throw the superpower, but my opponent has given up. And going to take like 10 Thunder Shocks or something like that. Crazy here to take out that Stunfisk. That HP. It's a hard counter for Melmetal. Very hard counter. Alright. Next game. Who do we have here? Gonna be Melmetal versus a fighter. Machamp, you don't love to see this. We're gonna swap out, and this is it. This is the Machamp double flyer team you see so much of. I'm gonna throw the Icy Wind here, debuff it. If you thought Melmetal didn't care about Pidgeot's moves before, it definitely doesn't now. The reason they shield is because they're planning on Feather Dancing, so I don't shield here. And I throw another Icy Wind. Probably will go unshielded this time because it's double debuffed. But now Pidgeot is double debuffed too. And then I'm going to go for the CMP tie here on Icy Wind versus another Feather Dance, which I get, which is great. It means they empty their energy, and then they're going to undercharge this so they can get some more farm. But Melmetal just going to come in, Thunder Shock all the way down. Obviously Machamp, great versus Melmetal, but that's more when you start even energy. If Melmetal has an energy advantage, they're probably going to have to shield. So I'm Feather Danced once. Gonna throw superpower anyways. I think even Feather Dance throwing 2 superpowers would deal quite a bit of damage to Machamp. They shield, and at that point, that's all I need to know to go into my Frostlass, and this is gonna be a very easy win. So despite a very hard lead, this Machamp double flyer team loses because the double flyers lose to everyone, or every Pokemon on this team. So if you are seeing a lot of this team and you still want to steal lead for whatever reason, then this is the team for you for sure. Yeah, still had a shield remaining there. If they went for the Brave Bird on Drifblim, farm all the way down with Melmetal, you just need to rip 1 shield off of that that team so that your Frostlass can beat the Machamp, because in the 2 shield, Machamp wins. Okay, so you can see me already clicking on that Frostlass button as soon as this Hypno comes in. I'm going to throw out CMP tie, and they don't actually go for the punch. They go for the Shadow Ball. But instead, they don't shield. Nobody shields this. Seriously, nobody shields this, and they leave. Just throw Shadow Ball. Like, if you bait with Shadow Ball, you save... Actually, if you bait with Avalanche, you save 1 Powder Snow. That's not very much. Is that worth, like, potentially losing a matchup? I would much rather having the chance to completely take out their Hypno. And once again, we're going to go right into Frostlass here. But these guys, this guy swaps out. We have Registeel. Very hard Frostlass counter. Doesn't really matter what you do here, you're going to lose. So, throw that first Shadow Ball. They're getting quite the farm. They're farming way up. Throw the Flash Cannon before my Frostlass gets there. And because they farmed way up, I kind of have to throw Superpower right away here. Because otherwise they're going to get to a move. And I don't want to shield my Melmetal at all. So Superpower successful. In comes Hypno. And then I got to get into my Drifblim. They have a lot of energy here. And I have to shield this because I have to hope that my Drifblim is good against whatever's in the back. And it kind of is looking that way at this point. They make a fantastic catch. But it's on a Shiftry. And I baited. So actually going to be able to get this second Icy Wind off before they're able to get to a move. I was hoping to rip shields, but they make a really smart play, identifying their win condition and not shielding at all. This Hypno now still has 2 shields. As long as I get to an Icy Wind, I'm okay, but they have so much energy. They did a great job with their energy management. Thunder Punch is going to be able to take out my Drifblim, and then of course Melmetal at this point, there's no shot. I try my best. We're going for the Rock Slides, and then after this I'm just going to try and build up for the double Superpower. But they're already at a move. I was hoping it was a Thunder Punch. If it's a Thunder Punch, I have a chance. But it's a Shadow. You can't win them all. You can only win 4 out of 5 again. So 17 out of 20, which is 85% win rate in this video with this team. So pretty solid team. I really enjoy using it. Drifblim for me always comes and does a great job in Remix. So no surprise that a Drifloon team is once again performing well. It just counters so many of these fighting types that don't really have coverage moves. Or the coverage moves aren't very strong in Remix, stuff like Toxicroak, Escav, and a lot of the ground types as well that start to pop out, because the only ground type in Open Great League is G-Fisk, so G-Fisk has coverage for Drifloon, whereas the ground types here don't really, like for example Diggersby can't really hit Drifloon, stuff like that. Yeah, that's the team. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and yeah, if you made it this far, please press that subscription button. I'm getting real close to 10,000. I'd love to hit it. So anyways, thank you for watching.